Maurice from Long Island. How come you never wear a tie on air? That's a good question. I'm glad you asked that, Maurice. This was just before we were scheduled to launch on a show called Cold Pizza on ESPN2. It did start on September 6th of 2004 in New York City. Mark Shapiro, who hired me to come and try to help save that show, Mark Shapiro said, you know what? No tie. It's casual. It's morning television. In those days, it started at 7 a.m. Eastern and went until 9 Eastern. Let's stay informal, said the great Mark Shapiro to me. Okay. I was going to add a debate component. I'd been on lots of different ESPN shows, sports reporters, a show called Prime Monday ahead of Monday Night Football when it used to be on ABC. And in my many, many appearances on ESPN and other MSNBCs and whatever, I always wore a tie because everybody wears a tie on TV. But Mark Shapiro said no tie. And I laughed and said, yeah, well, you know what they say in sports. A tie is like kissing your sister. I don't want to kiss my sister, so I won't wear a tie. And if I'm going to debate on TV, you know me, I'm an insane competitor, and I'm going to be competing against Woody Page. I kind of like the idea of no ties because I don't want a tie. I want to win. So here we went, me versus Woody. Guess what? Cold pizza ratings in the toilet started to rise up out of the toilet. We started to rate. The show morphed into First Take. It morphed all the way up to Bristol, Connecticut, out of New York City. And I continued not to wear a tie. And I came to loathe the idea of wearing a tie anywhere. And the show continued to morph around the debate concept, became Embrace Debate as I moved from Bristol, Connecticut to Los Angeles, California to do Undisputed on FS1. And we decided right away, nah, no ties. Shannon can wear a tie. I'm not going to wear a tie. Since I have been here in LA at FS1, I can think of 2 times I actually wore a tie off air. One was my mother's funeral. I did that out of respect to her. Felt pretty awkward about it. Couldn't remember how to tie a tie. Had to get a friend of mine that morning to tie it for me. But I wore it awkwardly. And then our first year here on Undisputed, we took the show to New York City, and Shannon and I had to go to an event, had to attend an event on the Thursday night before Friday's show. And we were to meet in the lobby, and as the elevator door opened, I walk out to see Shannon waiting for me. I'm wearing a tie because it's big. It's almost black tie, but it's not quite, but it's very formal. And I took a tie. And Ernestine went with me and she tied it for me. And I got a tie on. And I walk out of the elevator doors and Shannon looks up and he says, "You're wearing a tie?" He didn't have one on. And I said, "Ah, oh, thank God." I said, "I'm going to rip this thing off." And I start to rip. He says, No. He said, "I feel completely out of place without a tie on. I was just doing this for you so you wouldn't feel uncomfortable." And I said, "So what?" And he says, "So I'm going back up to my room to put a tie on." And he did. And we went to the event wearing ties. And thankfully, that was it for me. And I hope I never wear a tie again as long as I live, because I know for sure Shannon Sharpe will never even come close to tying me on Undisputed. I hope you enjoyed that video. You ready for more? Make sure you click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from the Skip Bayless Show. And don't forget to check out the full episode of the show wherever you get your podcasts by clicking the link in the description.